Welcome to the Eiteljorg Museum in Indianapolis, Indiana, one of the finest Western and Native American art museums in the country. Certainly in the eastern part of the country. You might be wondering what in the world is a Western art museum doing in Indianapolis. Well, it is all the result of a personal collection by an Indianapolis-based businessman who donated his collection, which grew and grew and grew, to the city. And boy, are we ever thankful that he did. I'm in one of my favorite galleries here, which is focused on landscapes. You would consider this sort of later Taos society, mostly New Mexico scenes. And how about this from E. Martin Higgins? And anyone who's been to New Mexico, been to Taos, especially in the fall, you're going to recognize a scene like this. It's called Towering Aspens. And does he ever do a fantastic job of capturing that brilliant golden yellow? And he offsets it with, look at that great orange in the rider's shirt there. You'll also notice hints of purple in this painting and that wonderful blue background. When I think about Western landscapes and the Taos society and paintings of New Mexico, this is the exact sort of image I'm thinking of. That bright yellow, the aspen leaves turning, that warm sun in the high country here. This is a brilliant New Mexico landscape. What a warm picture. Contrast this, obviously, same artist, Martin Higgins, but a cold picture. That is a winter scene. But let's move on to this one now. Walter Ufer. This is another New Mexico landscape, another use of the yellows, the tans here in the foreground. But look at that background. Look at the pointillist effect here. You get up close and that's little dots and dashes of pink and different variations of even green and blue in there, white as you get closer to the horizon, giving it that great perspective and depth. We've got some sagebrush over here, the light capturing the top of the sagebrush there, a skull there from, looks like a buffalo skull, possibly cattle, and then of course these figures up here. But Walter Ufer, a painter of some renown, certainly in Western circles, but folks outside of the Western art world aren't going to recognize him. But this pointillist effect, as we'll see also in this painting, is very representative of his style. Boy, look at the starburst there, this incredible golden yellow on these cottonwood trees. This is Taos Summer Landscape by Walter Ufer. Again, a really pointillist inspired background, that blue sky with little countless little brush marks there. Doesn't this remind you of Van Gogh? Look at that yellow, look at this free brush stroke. Not quite the heavy impasto buildup of Van Gogh, and obviously Ufer lived in the late 1800s, early 1900s, painting out west. Van Gogh in Europe. There's no reason to believe that they had any idea who each other were, but certainly brings some of those southern France, Provençal landscapes to mind that Van Gogh painted with that brilliant yellow against the brilliant blue background, and a very light color palette. Light yellow, light blue. Again, we've got this tan here with the shadows, and when we talk about a light color palette, this one from Victor Higgins, even more so. This has a pastel feel to it, but it is actually oil paint, oil on canvas. Small marks here of, actually, you would probably call that sea foam, or almost an algae-like color. This really light green that goes light, a little bit darker, and then we get into the foothills here where he really brings out some peaches and oranges and so many different hues in this really light color palette. A beautiful painting here by Victor Higgins. This is actually a Texas Panhandle scene, not New Mexico like the others. Some dashes of dark blue in there to set out the shadows with a brilliant sun-baked sky there. Now, think about the light color palette there. We're going to go see a heavy color palette, a much saturated, richer color palette over here. And this is Fremont Ellis, another brilliant landscape painting. Now we're back in New Mexico, and contrast this dark, rich, saturated color, the dark greens, the dark blues. We've got dark purple in here, maroon, a much heavier color palette than we just saw behind us. This is a fall scene. We've got some snow in the mountaintops already, but he really has done a brilliant job here with the blues and the reds and the browns, creating those shadows in the mountains, and then this wonderful, brilliant expression of color here in the changing leaves. And finally, back to another light palette here. This is Theodor von Solon, a winter scene. It's a winter scene. We've obviously got snow here, but when I look at this painting, I feel warmth. He was able to paint snow warmly. We see the sun. We can feel the sun here casting this giant shadow from the tree over here, warming the side of this home. And we've got two figures, and one mother holding a baby, and we can feel that sun, that warmth of the sun on us. This is a brilliant picture that takes you there. You can really get a great sense of, yes, the cold from the snow, obviously, but the warmth from this, the great expansive landscape in the background. Green coming through here, so we would imagine this is springtime. What a beautiful landscape here at the Eiteljorg Museum, and a gallery, my favorite gallery here in the museum, full of these wonderful, wonderful Western landscapes.